A very good afternoon to one and all. Myself, Dr. Vijaya Nirmala, Associate Professor in the Department of Management Studies. And today we are going to discuss about the topic organization transformation. And this topic is there for MBA second year, fourth semester students in the subject organization development. Okay, so what is organization transformation? So before knowing about this, we will discuss about we have been already discussing about the foundations of organization development, and organization transformation is the last foundation that we are going to discuss. In the previous already we have discussed the remaining foundations. There are totally 8 foundations in organization development, and the 7 we have already discussed, and this is the last transformation, the last foundation in OD, that is organization transformation. Now let us see what is organization transformation, what is the meaning and definition of organization transformation. So organization transformation, it is a process, it is a process of ensuring that the organization can develop and implement the major change programs. So this organization transformation can make it to develop and implement the major change programs. It can develop the major change programs that will ensure that it responds strategically to the new demands. It responds strategically to the new demands and continues to function effectively in a dynamic environment. So it used to continuously makes an effective function on to be effective in a dynamic environment that which operates among them. So these interventions are aimed at transforming the organizations. So these are generally interventions are made to transform the organizations. So the organization transformations, they generally they used to deal with a radical, basic and total change in an organization. So these organization transformations generally they used to deal with the radical changes, if there are any radical changes, or if there are any basic changes in an organization, or if they wants to change the to complete total about the organization, then this organizational transformation will be moving on. So the transformation in that is in contrast, it means that it used to improve the organization and developing it or some of its parts. They used to develop it or some of its parts it may use to develop. So what is transformation? Transformation in the sense it used to deal with a radical transformation often deals with a condition in which an organization cannot continue functioning as before. So if there is an organization that it is unable to function as before, and at that point of time this transformation will be there. Transformation will be there. So uh, in order to continue to exist, it needs a drastic reshuffling in every dimension of its existence. So to be, in order to continue as before. The functioning has to be done as like the before. It needs a drastic reshuffling. It needs a drastic reshuffling in every dimension of its existence. In every dimension of its existence, that is, it may be its mission or goal structure or a culture. So whatever it may be, it is called as second order change. We call this as that when the organization is trying to change the vision, goal of the organization or the structure of the organizations, then generally these are to be made. So this is called as a second order change, or we call it as a transformation. We call it as a transformation. So now did you understand what is transformation? Right? So now, if you come to, let us see the definitions of organizational transformations according to various people. So, according to Fletcher, organizational transformation is defined as holistic, ecological, humanistic approach to the radical revolutionary changes in the entire context of the organizational system. So it means that in the entire organizational system, the organizational transformation can be of holistic in nature, ecological, humanistic approach, and there are many radical or revolutionary
Ma'am, voice is not coming, ma'am.
in the entire context of the organization. Fletcher. Okay. Now, according to Killman and Covin, according to Killman and Covin, the organizational transformation is a process. It is a process in which that uh, uh, the organizations are trying to evaluate the organization process. The organization transformation is a process in which the organizations are trying to evaluate what they were. They are trying to evaluate what they were. Okay, just a minute. Yeah, what they were, what they are, and what they will need to be, and how to make the necessary changes. How to make the necessary changes. So, according to these two people, what they are telling is organizational transformation is the process in which the organizations, they are trying to evaluate what their organization is and what they are and what they will need to be in future. What are we, what are they, and what we are going to be in future, and how to make the necessary actions. How to make the necessary actions. So these are said by Killman and Covin. These are said by Killman and Covin, right? So these are some of the definitions of organization development, right? Now let us see what are the characteristics of organizational transformation change. Well, we call it as transformational change. So what are the characteristics of the transformational state change? So the characteristics of transformational change are given in the in 6 different ways. One is triggered by environmental and internal disruptions. Triggered by environmental and triggered disruptions, and the other one is systematic revolutionary, and the next one pertinent to change the different features of the organization, and the next one demands new organizing paradigm, and the next one driven by senior executives and line management, and the last one is continuous change and learning. Continuous change and learning. So these are the various characteristics of transformational change. Now let us see each characteristic one by one. The first one is it is triggered by environmental and internal disruptions. That is, the transformations used to entail the significant shifts. It used to entail the significant shifts in corporate philosophy and values. In corporate philosophy and values, and in the numerous structures and organizational arrangements. So it can be of the corporate philosophy and the values in the numerous structures and the organizational arrangements that shape the members' behavior, that used to shape the members' behavior. So not only is the magnitude of change greater, but the change fundamentally tries to alter the qualitative nature of the organization. This used to change the fundamentally alter the qualitative nature of the organization. So the interventions are trying to revolve around the culture change, the self design, and organizational learning, as well as the knowledge management. So here what we have said, here there are various interventions, and all these interventions are trying to revolve around the culture change in culture, self design, and organizational learning, as well as the knowledge management, so these are the first characteristic of transformational changes. It is triggered by environmental and internal disruptions, and the other characteristic is systematic and revolutionary. It means that the transformational change involves reshaping the organizational culture. It used to reshape the culture of the organization, and it used to design various elements. So these changes are characterized as systematic and revolutionary. Why? Because the entire nature of the organization is altered fundamentally. These are altered fundamentally. So the next characteristic is pertinent to change different features of organizations. That is, the transformational change is particularly pertinent to changing the different features of an organization. It means that, such as structure, information system, human resource practice, and work design and work. So all these features, they are need to be changed together and in a coordinated fashion. They need to be in moved in a coordinated fashion, so that they can mutually support each other and the new cultural views and assumptions. That is the pertinent to change the different features. So the different features like structure, information system, human resource practice, as well as the work design. So what that is called pertinent to change different features of the organization. And the next one is demands new organizing paradigm. Demands new organizing paradigm. That is, the transformational change is characterized as the transition from the control based to a commitment based organization. So, the transformational change is the characterized through characterized as the transition. It is used to characterized as the transition from a control based to a commitment based organization. That is, according to Sackman. According to Sackman, he has included various features in this organizing paradigm, like learner, like such as learner, he is having more, if he is a learner, he has more flexible structure. If it is of information and decision making, which is pushed down to the lowest levels, and the other one is the decentralized teams. The other one is the decentralized teams and the business units, which are taking more accountability for specific products, service, or the customers. For specific product, service, or the customers. And the other characteristic is driven by senior executives and line management. Driven by senior executives and line management. That is, it is a key feature of the organizational transformation, that it is the active role of senior executives and line managers in all phases of the change process. In all phases of the change process, right? And the next one, the last characteristic is continuous change and learning. This a continuous transformational change is a continuous change and learning. That is, finally, the transformational change is distinguished from other types of strategic change. It is used to be distinguished through the other types of strategic change by its attention to the people's side of the organization, by its attention to the people's side of the organization. That is, for a change to be a labeled transformation, the majority of the individuals in an organization, they will come to learn how to enact the new behaviors which are being required to implement the new strategic decisions, which are used to implement the new strategic decisions. So these are the various characteristics of transformational change, right? With this, our characteristics has been finished. Now let us see various types of organizational transformation. So when we are discussing about the various types of transformation, we have three types. One is improving operation, and the other one is strategic transformation, and the next one is corporate self-renewal. The next one is corporate self corporate self-renewal. So these are the various types of organization transformations. Various types of organization transformation, right? Now let us see each type of transformation one by one. Okay, so the first one is improving the operation. So that is, if you want to achieve a quantum improvement in the efficiency of the firm, or you need to often reduce the cost. You need to often reduce the cost. You need to improve the quality and services. And also, you need to reduce the development time also. You need to reduce the development time. So this is one type of organizational transformation, that is improving operations. Improving operations. Okay. The next type of organizational transformation is the strategic transformation. Is the strategic transformation. It is the process of changing a strategy seeks to regain a sustainable competitive advantage. It will be able to regain a sustainable quantitative competitive advantage by redefining the business objectives, creating the new competencies, and harnessing these capabilities to meet the market opportunities. To meet the market opportunities, right? So this is another type of organizational transformation, that is strategic transformation. And what it does is to maintain a sustainable competitive advantage. It uses by redefining the business objectives and creating the new competencies, creating the new competencies, and these are capable to meet the market opportunities, to meet the market opportunities. And the next one is corporate self-renewal. Corporate self-renewal. Self-renewal in the sense it used to create the ability for a firm to anticipate and cope up with the change, cope up with the change, so that the strategic and organizational gap does not develop. So it doesn't develop the strategic and operational gap will not be developed. So you need to cope up with the change. You need to cope up with the change. So this is about the types of organizational transformation, right? And we have discussed about the various characteristics and types of organizational transformation. And now we are going to discuss about the process of organizational transformation. And this is the last topic for you in your second unit, the process of organizational transformation. And this was said by two people, ma. One is according to Buckley and Perkins. According to Buckley and Perkins, this process of organizational transformation is given by several authors. So only two of them are explained to you. Okay. So according to Buckley and Perkins, what he do is he used to describe the process of organizational transformation as being similar to the death and rebirth. So he said the organizational transformation is a process in which the organizations have this as a death. It is similar as a death and rebirth. A death and rebirth. So they outline a seven-stage process. These two people have outlined a seven-stage process and which tries to identify the dynamics of transformative change. The dynamics of, they used to define the dynamics of the transformative change. Okay, so according to that, we will see one by one. The first one is unconsciousness stage, unconscious stage, awakening stage, reordering stage, translation stage, commitment, embodiment stage, and integration stage. So these are the seven stages which was developed by Berkeley and Perkins in the process of organizational transformation. Now let us see in each stage what will be happening. So coming to the first stage, which is called unconsciousness stage. That is, in this the organization's transition, they begins gradually with a period of organization's unconsciousness, that is, it tries to build a readiness for a change, tries to build up a readiness for change. So that is done in stage one. And when you come with the awakening stage, when the readiness to for change has been done in the unconsciousness stage, then they used to develop an awareness. They used to develop an awareness and the surfacing symptoms which form a message to all involved of the needed change. So whoever requires the change, for all them, this provides or this develops an awareness for surfacing the symptoms, that it tells about the various symptoms that whoever the organizations wants to be wants to perform the change, for them it provides an awareness. So that is called as awakening stage. And the next one is reordering stage. So reordering, in the sense, it is a probing process. Reordering is a probing process which used to integrate the new catalyst with the existing situation. This used to integrate the new catalyst with the existing situation and beginning to challenge the underlying assumptions of the past. So they used to challenge the underlying assumptions of the past. Okay, that is called reordering. And the next one is translation stage. So under this process, uh, when you need to process the integrating transformation information, here you have some metaphorical images, that is the personal visions of the people who are unconsciousness, awakening, as well as reordering stage. So the process of integrating the information based on metaphorical images and personal visions who are having unconscious stage, awakening, as well as reordering stage, that will be moved in this translation stage. And the other one is commitment stage. So commitment is when the organization takes responsibility to implement a new vision. If the organizations are taking the responsibility that to implement a new vision, that is called as commitment stage. And the next one, embodiment stage. It is that the leadership and employees work together to bring the transformed vision into day to day operations. So, in embodiment, the leadership as well as the employees who work together, they used to bring the transformed vision, they used to bring out the transformed vision into the day to day operations, into the day to day operations. That is called embodiment stage. And the next one is integration stage, that as the embodiment of the desired change becomes widespread, which used to become widespread, then the organization reaches a stage of integration. Then the organization will reach us a stage of integration, that is called as integration stage. It is called as integration stage. So movement through all these 10 cycles is necessary to fulfill the integrated transformative change. So if you want to have an integrated transformative change, it is not that only one stage to be implemented. It has to be moved simultaneously all these stages, then only you can be able to achieve the integrated transformative stage. Okay. So that is about the process of organization transformation, which was said by Berkeley and Perkins. Berkeley and Perkins. And the other one is according to Gemmell and Smith. According to Gemmell and Smith, he wrote the transformative change within a system which was followed on four basic processes. So he has developed and it was processed on four basic processes. One is disequilibrium conditions, symmetry breaking, experimentation, reformulation processes. So, among these four basic processes, the transformative change has been made. So, let us see these four one by one. Disequilibrium conditions, that is, the assumed conditions within which the change becomes possible. The assumed conditions within which the change becomes possible, and this is one of the turbulence and environmental as well as internal also. So this disequilibrium condition is the main thing in the process of organizational transformation. Okay, and when you come to the next step, that is symmetry breaking. Symmetry breaking, so this implies that the system is somehow breaking down its usual processes. So that is, it means that the routine processes will be breaking down. That is called symmetry breaking. And the next one is experimentation. Though even though the entire experimentation process, the system creates a new possible configuration. This used to create a new possible configurations around which it has been eventually reformulate. Used to have eventually reformulate. That is called experimentation. And the last one is reformulation process. Reformulation process. So in this formative process, there are new configurations which are being tested. So in this reformulation process, there will be new configurations, and these new configurations are being tested within the new environmental constraints. So already you have developed a new environmental constraints, and within these new environmental constraints, you used to test the new configurations. Okay, and with respect to the system's previous level of development also, previous level of development. So for this to take place, the system must be highly resonant. For this, you need to have, the system needs to be highly resilient. It is both internal as well as external, and also the subsystem alignments and the alignments within the contingencies of the entire environment. So these had to be made. So this is the process of organization's transformation said by Gemmell and Smith. Gemmell and Smith. Okay, so with this, we have completed our second unit, and in the tomorrow's session, we used to discuss about the topics in the third unit, that is diagnostic process and areas of diagnosis, that we will discuss in the next session. Okay, if you have any queries, you can ask me, or else we'll wind up. Okay, thank you, ma. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, ma'am.